Hello and welcome to RVK Grapevine's Newscast. My name is Valur Grettisson. I'm an editor-in-chief at RVK Grapevine. Pollý is somewhere around here. I think she just found new friends. Hope she won't go anywhere. I want to start this, of course, with reminding you on both membership as well as the documentary about the volcano. We love that documentary. It would be really nice if you would check it out if you haven't already. Also, we want to tell you about the quiz. We have, of course, this newsletter that we send every week. Helgi, which is he does the quiz for us, and he holds like is the boss of the newsletter. I think it could be. He actually always come up with these quizzes, and the last one was actually brilliant. He asked the question was this: which one of these could not be the correct translation for the word hlaup? Was it A, barrel of a gun? Was it B, echo? Was it C, glacial flood? Was it D, jelly? Or was it E, race? So the correct answer here is actually like hlaup is not echo. Echo in Icelandic is bergmál. But all of the other words, like barrel of a gun, glacial flood, all of this you could use the word hlaup for. It just matters how the context is. I love this word. It's you can use it for everything, and it's brilliant. Simone Henstra from the Netherlands was the last winner, and she won. She, I think, won the. Sorry, I'm getting a call, like being a journalist here. Yeah, she won the Viking box. So congratulations with that. Now, if you want to participate in this week's quiz, you need to go down here, you need to press the link, and you have to subscribe for our newsletter. If you answer in the comment section, it's fun, but it's not valid, so keep in mind. Also, it's like an anniversary week of the eruption, of course. We still have these all of these volcano things on sale. But which one of these towns does not belong to Reykjanes geographically, like the Reykjanes Peninsula? Is it A, Akranes, or is it B, Grindavík, or is it C, Hafnarfjörður, or is it D, Vogar? If you get this right, you will get a volcano box. That is, if you win this, of course. But we're here once again at Sæbrautin. This is a wonderful lighthouse here. It's a new one. We have, it's such a beautiful day. We just want to show you. I don't know if you can see this well in the camera, but I love the color of the ocean right now. It's like this like beautiful green color. This is how I love Iceland the most. And then, of course, you have the beautiful and like humongous mountain of Esja, which is over there, with its white spots and bluish colors. It's wonderful, basically. So, it's also sunny. So let's go for it. Okay. We're gonna start off with a really odd, PR war between a Minister of Interior in Iceland, Sigurður Ingi, and the Russian ambassadors. This is quite something. I've seen this actually in other countries. The Russians, they are not backing off when it comes to false information. You know this, of course. If you're a journalist in Russia, and you say that the war that the invasion and the war that Russia is waging against Ukraine is a war or invasion, you can actually go into 15 years of imprisonment. So we don't really take that lightly. We don't really like this. And Sigurður Ingi, he's in the ruling coalition for the Progressive Party. He's the chairman for the party. And he is what we would call, like, we nickname him sometimes as the nice uncle. The reason is because he's so nice and just a like calm figure. And I absolutely love this guy in many ways. I'm not much for the party itself, but he is quite nice. So he was last weekend. There was like a rally with the party, and the party was actually they were talking about. He was having like a speech, like these chairmen always do, and these speeches are always like lofty and quite boring. But this time it wasn't. He said actually in the speech that he hopes that the Russians will be lucky enough to get rid of the villains in Kreml sooner than later. This was, I noticed this myself when I saw this in the media, because it was unusually harsh how he put this out. Because Icelandic politicians, they don't really, I mean, Icelandic politicians are like they show courtesy in most cases. This might be changing, I don't know. But Sigurður Ingi, he surprised us. He was really tough about this, the villains in Kreml. So what happens now is that the embassy in Iceland, the Russian embassy, they actually sent out a press release where they demanded that the minister would actually retract his words and he would apologize for it. Now, Sigurður Ingi is pretty funny also. He has an attitude, let's just say that. And he said actually, okay, I mean, perhaps this was strongly worded, but I'll retract these words when you stop invading Ukraine. Simple as that. The thing is that it kind of just stands there, this case right now. But what is perhaps the political aspect of this, which is much more funnier, is that this is actually illegal. In Iceland, it's illegal to offend a national leader of another country. These laws are very old and they are incredibly controversial, mostly because we only have 2 cases where anyone has been sentenced for this. And the sentence for this is like none, basically. It's like 2 months priority. 2 months, you don't go into jail or anything, and you perhaps have to pay a fine, but not even that. The reason that it's basically controversial, we think these laws are absolutely useless, is because the first time we actually used these laws was in the 1930s. And the interesting thing is that then there was a great poet, Icelandic poet called Steinn Steinar, one of my absolute favorites actually. And this poet, he burned the Nazi flag in front, I think in front of the, not even in the front of the embassy. He just burned the Nazi flag with another pal of his. This was like before the Second World War, and he realized early on, this poet, that the Nazis were not the good guys. They were actually the baddies. So the government actually, like the German ambassador in Iceland, pressed charges and they were sentenced for this. And this was also always like considered as a very unjust verdict. And to be honest, the government should actually change this verdict today and apologize, although these men died decades ago. Anyways, the second time that someone was convicted for this was a little bit later. That was after, I think, the U.S. actually invaded Iraq in 2003. But on top of that, the one that did this, he actually threw, I think, a Molotov cocktail actually at the house also. Nothing burnt, nothing more happened, but it was perhaps a different kind of a case than the Nazi thing. So the thing is that what we know now is the Russian ambassador in Iceland, he hasn't pressed charges, he hasn't even, what do you say, like he hasn't asked the minister officially to retract his words, meaning that this is still just a meaningless PR stunt, to be honest, which is more or less everything that the Russians have to offer when it comes to the media right now. Jæja, Pollý. She is just relentless, isn't she? Yeah. And now to other things. Íslandsbanki is the Bank of Iceland. This is a pretty huge bank. It used to be named Glitnir. It was a notorious bank when everything crashed in 2008. And the thing is that they were nationalized, all of these banks, when that happened. So Icelandic government, us basically, have owned these banks now since 2008, late year 2008. So they sold, it was the first time since then that we don't have majority in all of these banks that are owned, like major banks in Iceland, because we sold like a portion of the bank just yesterday. The buyers, we don't really know who they are. It will be revealed on Monday, but the thing is that the Ministry of Finance has been criticized for this sale is because he sold it a little bit lower than he could have. It was sold for 52 billion Icelandic krona, and the government, me basically, we still own well over 40% in the bank, but nonetheless, they say that these, they could have gotten 54 billions for the bank. The reason is that when the bank was sold, the price for the share was 122 Icelandic krona, but the investors got it for 117 Icelandic krona. This has sparked some anger because, well, we don't trust banks and we don't trust politicians very well when it comes to the banks. And of course, Bjarni Ben, which is the financial minister, he was criticized heavily after the crash for his involvement when it came to the Icelandic business life, basically. And it was not all good, to be honest. But it was nothing illegal. It was nothing like that. And most of his affairs were before he became a chairman of the Independence Party, like he is right now. One union leader, quite strong union leader for the union VFR or VR. If you're, for example, an immigrant and you're watching this, the odds are that you are actually in that union because it's the biggest one in Iceland. He has said and just flat out demanded that Bjarni Ben will have to step down as a minister for this oversight. The thing is, though, the minister said, because Icelanders are obsessed right now with the ideas that come on! Icelanders are obsessed right now with the idea that the bank should be owned by many investors, not like it used to be. It was like one billionaire, he owned it and he just did whatever he wanted to do, and this ended up us basically going bankrupt as a nation. So Bjarni Ben, the financial minister, said he wasn't focusing on getting the highest price for the shares. He was focusing on exactly this, to sell it to a lot of investors and so on. And therefore, like 117 krona for the share, or 122, it was a minor thing. But the union leader points out, well, the government, us, we literally gave them 2 billion Icelandic krona. So it's a debate, perhaps understandable, but it will be much clearer on Monday when we actually know who bought the bank. So, yeah, also, if you want to see here, it's like we used to, they don't use this house anymore actually. This is Íslandsbanki over there, but the house got the house got ruined for like fungus and such. It wasn't good for the workers to be there actually. So they are now like in this massive towers in Kópavogur. But yeah, this used to be their headquarters over there. And now to Westfjords, Súðavík. It's a bit sad story actually. There was an avalanche in Súðavík, and the town of Súðavík is basically next to Ísafjörður. It's like deep in the Westfjords. There was an avalanche, and it was pretty remarkable because it came down this hill and there was a woman driving there at the same time, and she saw this flood, literally this avalanche coming towards her, and she had two options: to stop and go with it, or just to step on it and drive away, like drive through it basically, like in some Hollywood action movie. She, of course, as being a Westfjordingur or like a resident of the Westfjords, she just stepped on it and just hoped for the best. And she survived. This is incredible. She said that she literally drove on the avalanche itself and somehow got to the end of the road, and the car wasn't destroyed, and she's perfectly fine, but quite startled about this, and she's quite angry because she said that the Road and Coastal Administration in Iceland should have closed this road sooner. Now, although there is no snow here, it's a very different situation in Westfjords, and also Súðavík is. There was a terrible tragedy that hit the town in the 90s when well over 10 people, I can't remember the exact name, but I think it was like around 14 people that actually died there in a very sad avalanche that happened at night or early in the morning. And there were like children and such that died in that. This actually affected Icelanders very much at the time, and therefore when we hear like avalanche in Súðavík, it is startling to be honest. So we're hoping that they will do something about this road. They have to build some kind of wall to basically prevent this avalanche to go over there. But this has been like a problem for the longest time, so I'm not sure what they're thinking. Also, there were tourists actually in Súðavík and in Westfjords, and they had some of them, like there was an emergency shelter that they could go to. And keep in mind, actually, if you're ever traveling in Iceland, in the Westfjords, in a nasty weather, there are always these shelters that they do. This is a pretty standard procedure today, meaning that we can actually, we basically need to do it somehow like that if you want to do this. So that's it for the news today. Just remember, of course, our volcano video, our shop. Our shop is wonderful, and I don't have anything more to add to it. How about you, Art? Hey, just tell me to walk away. I'll do so in a dreamy way. So until next time, which will be on Tuesday. Also remember our podcast, the Icelandic Roundup, not Roundabout. Remember that. You can find it mostly everywhere. So.